I am Luna, a 30-year-old Chinese woman who was adopted from mainland China when I was a baby and grew up in the UK. I grew curious about my roots and if I had any family out there, so I took a 23andMe test. Through this test, I found 4 full sisters. I'm the oldest. My sisters are ages 29, 28, 24, and 20 years. The 3 middle sisters are in America, and the youngest is in Germany. We had kept in contact via the internet and had even met in person twice before the global issue started. I have 2 brothers I grew up with who are my parents' biological sons, and as far as I'm concerned, they and my parents are my true family. However, I have grown close to my biological sisters as we understand each other a lot. My parents know of my birth story. I was found in an alleyway in a box. My sisters were found relatively the same way, though they were left outside of buildings in public areas. So, I'm a bit more bitter than they are about how we were abandoned, as I was left out of the way where I could have been missed. We recently got contacted by a new family member found by the test, an 18-year-old full brother who lives in France with our bio parents. They moved there later in life. My biological sisters are excited by this and eager to meet him. They want the 5 of us to fly out together and meet our brother and family. I've told them I wouldn't stop them, but I have no interest in meeting the couple who kept trying to have a boy and abandoned 5 daughters we know of, reminding them that there could be more we don't know about who haven't used 23andMe. They feel I'm being unreasonable in this, and I should at least go to meet our brother. I'm fine meeting him one day, but not with them there. He and I have been exchanging emails for now. I know they want the 5 of us to go out as a united front in this, and my not wanting to go is disheartening for them. But I honestly feel bitter about this whole situation. It's a very personal trauma for me, not the idiot. It is especially worse for me as the oldest, and was the closest to not having a life at all because of their abandonment. I hope you and your brother form as strong a bond as you and your sisters have. It isn't his fault your parents did this, and I hope they all come to understand your feelings and stop pushing. It's a personal decision, not a group one. Consider discussing this with them now about boundaries after they meet. Do you want to hear about the meeting? Do you want them to invite you to do things with them in the future if the parents are involved? This sounds like they abandoned you all due to the one-child policy, aiming for a son to continue the family name and the possibilities for what could happen if that was violated. But this is still horrible. There's no excuse for conceiving and abandoning 5 children. If you meet your brother, you deserve to meet him on your terms. Try writing down how you feel, and then explaining it to your sisters. I'm sorry you have this trauma. Maybe I'm just a bitter person, but if I were you, I would go just to confront them in person and let them know that as far as I knew, they had no daughters, and they meant absolutely nothing to me. Update. Am I the idiot for telling my biological sisters that I don't want to meet our bio parents after some pushing for my bio sisters over getting in contact with our bio parents? I didn't want to fly out to meet them with my sisters, but they still wanted to talk to me, so I finally consented to have a Zoom call with our bio parents, as that was the most I could handle. I'll be honest, it was like a punch in the gut. I looked so much like our bio mother that it was a little startling. So, I found some answers to some important questions. Firstly, why were we abandoned? As many of you can guess, it's due to the one-child policy. They wanted a son, but there was additional internal pressure to this. My paternal grandparents had told them if they kept a daughter, they would be cut off and not have a penny of the family's money. It's why I was abandoned so differently from my sisters. It was my paternal grandmother who took me out to be abandoned. My bio parents always assumed I had died because of how she left me, so they took over the abandonment of my sisters, which is why they were left in better places. Were there any other children? Yes, 1. A boy who would be 22 right now. Had everything gone to plan, they were going to keep him. But apparently something was wrong with him. I don't know what, and they didn't expand on that. But apparently my paternal grandfather forced them to give him up as he was ashamed. Why did they move to France after our youngest brother was born? They finally gained financial independence from my paternal grandparents and were able to move. They were the ones who asked their son to take the test, hoping to find other children. Where does this leave us? They were so happy to talk to me and kept going on about how they now had most of their children back and could have it all. I cut them off there and told them they didn't have us back. I expressed sympathy for what they had been put through by my paternal grandparents, but pointed out they chose money over me and all of us, and how they could have chosen to keep me or any of the others and make their way in life. But they hadn't. I thanked them for the call, but told them I had a family already, and had no further interest in speaking with them. I continued to be in contact with my bio brother, but this was all they get. They tried to beg me to stay on the call, but I left, and I admit I had a bit of a sob afterward. My adoptive brothers ended up taking me out to drink afterward, and the three of us got hammered while I vented and cried some more. But it helped me work through a lot of things. So thanks everyone. I just figured you all deserved an update. I'm sorry your suspicions were confirmed. Your grandparents are horrible, evil people who deserve to rot in hell. On the other hand, I'm glad you have your real family to support you. As for your other siblings, you decide whether or not you want to have a relationship with them. Good luck with everything. Bio parents are evil too. They kept choosing to have children they abandoned till they got the right one. They can feel bad all they want. Cultural pressure, I sympathize. But they did this with all the daughters and one son who wasn't right. OP, if you choose not to be involved with your biological parents, then I feel it's for the best because at the end of the day, they did choose money over you, and what would have happened if you were never found? You are so strong, and you handled this well. You now have a true family that loves you and has the best support. Hugs and take care. About a month ago, my brother, 34, sent out a group text to me and a group of his friends trying to plan a day for us to all go over to his house for a day of yard games, grilling, and drinking. After working out scheduling conflicts, we landed on this coming Saturday, tomorrow. We've been bantering back and forth about this day in the group chat for the past month, and all of us are looking forward to it. My brother's wife and toddler son were supposed to be spending the day at her mom's place, but I guess those plans fell through. They'll be at the house. But my brother said that doesn't change our plans. However, my sister-in-law reached out to my wife and asked if she wanted to come over and bring our toddler without talking to me about it. My wife agreed. When she told me she plans on going over there too, I started asking questions instead of being excited about it. I've always planned on crashing there, so I said we'd have to take 2 cars, and it's an hour's drive, and gas is expensive. She said they could stay there too, but we have a dog, and my sister-in-law is allergic, so bringing him is not an option. I also told her that we had been planning this day as a guy's day for a month, and I've been looking forward to a day where I'm only responsible for myself and utterly devoid of parental duties. She said that the guys could still have their fun, and she would just hang out with her sister-in-law. I said that if they came with me, there was a very real and highly probable situation where I would be pulled into some form of parental duties during the day, and I was looking forward to a day without that. For context, I haven't had a day like this since last summer. My wife took a 5-day trip with a couple of friends a few months ago while I was at home, so this would be the first night I've spent away from my son in almost a year. Enjoying the story so far? Show your support by liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's dive back into the story. My wife got upset that I was subtly hinting that I didn't want them to come. She asked me if I wanted them there, and I said couldn't it stop you from accepting my sister-in-law's invitation and going over there. But I am going into this day with the expectation that I'll be free from all parental duties, and that this is a day off for me. If you go over there, I want you to agree that you'll be responsible for all kid duties. She did not like that answer. She said I'm still a dad, and just because I want to have fun with the boys doesn't remove my responsibilities as a husband and a father. She said it's unreasonable to expect her to take 100% responsibility for our son when both of us are present in the same place. I told her that the simple solution to that problem was for them to stay home, as we had always planned. As of last night, my wife had not made a final decision on what she was going to do tomorrow. I know I might have come off a bit harsh, but I wanted to clarify what I expect tomorrow to be, whether they come over or not. Not the idiot. She got to take a 5-day vacation. And you can't take one. You're not in the wrong at all. Why can't your sister-in-law go to your house instead? You're 100% not in the wrong. If she could take a 5-day vacation, there's no reason she can't give you one freaking day. You are the idiot. The fact is, her sister-in-law invited her because she wanted the company. Plans have changed slightly, and you sound quite stubborn about it. It would be interesting if your wife chose not to go and called your sister-in-law to explain exactly why. Also, the car issue. It's a one-off plan. Gas is expensive. That sounds like a ridiculous excuse, to be honest. Not the idiot. Your wife had 5 days alone with friends thousands of miles away and was free from childcare those 5 days. You're entitled to a break now and then, just like she is. If my husband told me that his sister-in-law screwed up the guy's time plan by inviting me, I'd understand and bow out. No big deal at all. Disagree? You are the idiot. It isn't your house to dictate who gets an invitation, and you are a parent 24/7. So sorry this one day may not go as planned. You could just be happy the cousins get to spend some time together, and that your wife and sister-in-law get along so well. Oh no, your family wants to spend time together. How horrid your life must be. I, 19 female, am pregnant with my ex's, 22 male baby. We are on good terms, and when the baby's born, we will have 50-50 custody. 2 weeks ago, I moved into my sister's, 35, and brother-in-law's, 37 house. My sister and brother-in-law practically begged me to move in with them because they wanted to experience being pregnant. My sister is infertile. Living with my sister and brother-in-law has been very stressful. They're always on top of me about my eating habits and are always around me, especially my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law insists that I think of him as the baby's father. It's annoying because when my baby's actual father's around, he feels the need to always one-up him. For example, one time when one of my sister's friends came over, he talked about the baby as if it was his. Yesterday, my other sister was hosting a family dinner at her house, and my brother-in-law came while I was on the couch. He came in front of me and started talking to my baby and referring to himself as daddy. It was highly embarrassing because everyone was looking, and I was furious. I told him to get up and stop touching me. My brother-in-law seemed very embarrassed, and my sister was angry. They both left after that. I went with my brother to get my clothes and everything from the house. I got a thread of text from my sister calling me an ungrateful witch and telling me how I embarrassed her and my brother-in-law. So I asked some friends and they told me I was in the wrong because my sister let me stay at her house rent-free. And some say I'm not. I honestly don't know, and I need unbiased answers. I sometimes do say things unfiltered when I feel strong emotions, so this may be one of those situations. Not the idiot, but they wanted to experience being pregnant? Why that alone did not send up every red flag from here to North Korea for you, I don't know. But it's obvious to anyone not fixated on the free rent part of this, that your sister and brother-in-law believe you're carrying this baby for them. So if that is not the case, continue to stay out and keep clear of them, and get a good lawyer and emergency services on speed dial just in case they try to force the issue. Did you let them believe that they were going to adopt the baby? Because it sounds like they think of you as their incubator. Don't ever stay with them again. Your brother-in-law is way out of line. It could be their infertility issues, or he could just be a weirdo. Either way, it would be a big no for me. By the way, stop taking advice from your friends who see nothing weird in this situation. They're clueless. I feel like that was their direction, like they were setting the stage for a baby grab. One, they'd let her stay with them rent-free, and she can't even afford rent. Two, they'd insist on buying things for the baby, and it'd be, we provided everything for the baby. Three, they'd help with overnights and feedings, and it'd be, we do everything for the baby. This is not their baby. Make sure they and everyone else in your family know that. I would make sure your entire family knows that this is your baby and will not be given to them. Your baby's father is in the picture. Do you realize that they will try to take that baby from you? You might need to set something up at the hospital so they can't try and do it. They might call CPS on you to get the kid. Move out and go low contact. At my university, students whose parents make under $65K go to school completely free, and students whose parents make between $65K and about $200K are on financial aid. Above around $200K, the school considers parents able to pay and expects them to do so, and a student can't get financial aid. So unless you were an emancipated minor or over 26, with no exceptions, your financial aid is dependent on parental income because schools expect your parents to pay if they can. My parents made well over the cutoff, but they refused to pay for my college for no reason, meaning I wouldn't be able to attend college because they make too much money for me to get financial aid, but refused to pay. They essentially tried to screw me out of an education. However, I met a guy, 22, who became my boyfriend, and his parents paid for my entire college. He's an only child, and his mom always wanted a daughter, and they adopted me into their family. She owns a makeup brand and has helped me get prestigious internships. I'm staying with him and his family all summer. They invited me to accompany them where they're staying for the summer, so I am, and I have no plans to go home and see my parents. My parents demanded to know where I was. I explained that I was with my boyfriend and his parents. Then they demanded to know why I wasn't coming home. I said I decided to spend some time with the people who care about me and support me. They said I'm their daughter, and I should be at home with our family. I said I'm already with family and don't owe them anything. It's not like they should care about me or what I'm doing. They can keep the same energy they've always had because I don't need them. They're upset that I don't wish to see them. I don't see any reason why I should visit. I'm with my boyfriend and his family, and I have no reason to see them. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If your parents think you should be on your own, they have to let you be on your own. If you found a new family who's willing to support you financially, then you did pretty well on your own, and they can shut up about it because they wanted you to be on your own for college. Your story is why I think colleges should be free for everyone. Admissions should be equitable but tuition free. I don't want little queer kids having to stay in the closet, or parents to force religion or marriage in exchange for money for education. I agree. I feel the same way about things like school lunches. Unfortunately, too many people won't feed their kids if they have the money because they're lazy, or won't fill out forms because of pride. Your parents wanted a free nanny and housekeeper for when they're old. That was the role and future they had planned for you. Never go back. I'm glad you found a family who loves you. It's not their responsibility to pay for your university, as you are an adult. For this same reason, you can spend the summer and the rest of your life without ever seeing your parents if you want. However, I wouldn't advise holding a grudge against them, as making $200K doesn't necessarily mean they're super well off to afford your studies, especially if you're from the US. Agree, it's not inherently evil to not pay for college, and being age 21, they aren't going to fail at life if they don't go to college immediately either. This reads like a kid who was given everything they wanted growing up and feels entitled to free college. Let's conclude our story. In the heart of a bustling city, amidst the cacophony of life's symphony, there stood an old bookstore, weathered by time yet brimming with tales untold. Its shelves were adorned with volumes that whispered secrets of eras gone by, inviting wanderers to embark on journeys through the corridors of imagination.